Welcome back to BLOCKTV. It's time now for Trader's Take. And with markets having to seem to have found a little bit of calm after what can only be described as a rollicking week, we turn now to our technical analyst from New York, Joe Saz, here to help break down the latest developments. Joe, all right, I need to hear something from you. I need to hear your views on the bull market right now. Joe, where do you stand? Are we in a full bull market right here?
I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I've gone full Bulltard. Things are looking amazing. 8,200 was hit. We consolidated and kept moving up. We've topped out at 8,900. I cannot see a bearish case scenario right now. It's just not in the cards. I can see pullbacks. I can see moves up. I can see legs down. But the bull market, I'm like so convinced that we're in a bull market, and I personally believe that any position set up below 10,000 is going to be a great position long term, mid to long term. I'm really excited right now, as you can tell with my monotone voice there.
Certainly, of course, always from you, Joe. But what I really want to understand in this particular market, we're looking, you said anyone below 10 will be in a good position, but moving forward beyond that, what sort of targets, what sort of goals are we laying in mind for the near to mid-term and even projecting out into the long?
Well, I wanted to point out, I think I found a pattern. Every time I get sick, Bitcoin performs well. So as long as I stay relatively unhealthy, I think Bitcoin is going to be doing well. So I'll make sure to keep, sharing, my son's spoon because he gets all those daycare germs. But, the targets to the upside are pretty much, to make a long story short, I would say, 9,400 was pretty much my target after 82, assuming that things were looking bullish, right? And so 94 is still absolutely on the table. 88 was my first area of resistance. And I think once we clean house, which we kind of did, let's just say, well, the resistance area is 88 to 8,900, right? We pretty much crashed after 8,900. So I think once we kind of muster the strength to get back into this, 9,400 will get taken out. From then, I think 10 will probably go down a little easier than people expect. So I'm expecting more like a 10.5, 10.4 area of resistance. And then I'm going to basically throw it, 11.5, 12.5, 14.5 out from there. I think it's going to move up pretty quick. And I don't think, as things stand now, bears are on their heels. And I'm working on I'm friends with some people that are working on some state-of-the-art analysis data. So I should be sharing that hopefully within the next couple months, and this will completely illustrate, the best way to describe who's in control of the market, bears or bulls, and when you can visually see that bears are on their heels. And so, let's talk about that. Right now, we've been, consolidating in this area, peaking out at around 8,900. Bottoming out at around in the 85s. And, this is a nice little shakeout, especially with some big candles to the downside, good volume. I mean, this is pretty much what you can expect. Over-leveraged positions are going to be getting wiped out along the way. And that's you could say that's insidious. You could say that's, just the game, whatever. But that's what we're used to. So get ready for the moves to the upside. We keep consolidating, and on the small time scales, get ready for these wild rides. We have these beautiful legs up, and then we can, with continuation, building wick spaces, and a sharp drop. This was probably just a liquidation hunt right here. 100 Xers got nailed. 50 Xers probably got stopped out there. Plus we got some wick space. So you can see we're actually, I think this is more just gameplay in a bull market instead of anything that would instigate any sort of alarm. So we're consolidating here. We got some nice technical action going on. So we do have some people playing their nines. Right now, our 9 buy is still just all right. Our 9 buy got just above this past 9 sell, and this is the 9. This 9 sell got so far just barely above this 9 buy, and it took a little while. I'm expecting this thing to kick back up again, and I would hope for a retest by tomorrow of 8,900 and hopefully a breakthrough. And obviously, I keep spilling the whole speech about how a healthy bull market requires some areas of consolidation and nice healthy areas of consolidation to help consumers have a better idea of price discovery, a better idea of what is a good value for this asset. So I'm okay if we consolidate. I'm absolutely fine with that. But I think that in Bitcoin, we have a tendency to get emotional, right? And FOMO kicks in, and I think that's why I'm a little more bullish right now, because I think these moves are really going to, they're really going to bring people out of the sidelines. I think we did lose a lot of money in that run up, the parabolic run up to 14.5. We lost a lot of buyers in that 10K range. Maybe they became sellers down low. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they hodled. But either way, I think they need to hodl a bit longer. There's still going to be more money pouring into Bitcoin, and the halvening hype is just going to make things worse for the pairs. So, and that's kind of what we have playing out in some of these alts like BSV and BCH, where they have halvenings, posting a month and a half or a month and change away before Bitcoin's halvening. So I think this is getting to be a really interesting time. And I'm not quite saying it's alt season yet, but I am saying that as long as that's, with Bcash and BSV, if those are the only two playing the game, then, I can expect that Bitcoin is probably going to have a increase in hash as well, and an increase in price going into the halving. I mean, we just saw it happen in shitcoins. So I can, and it's happening in January 16th, 15th, over the past few days. So I think we are in the current, and I think this is a strong halving current. So I'm expecting this to be a really wild ride to the upside.
Right. I mean, and talking about that wild ride, I mean, you've mentioned BSV and BCH, and obviously, I mean, they are the hottest games in town right now, particularly BSV with that incredible 24-hour period in which it at some points doubled in value. I mean, that is staggering. Do you put that all down to halvening hype for the BSV halving? Is that market manipulation? I mean, what is driving such a reckless almost upswing, and is it sustainable?
Those are all some great questions, Asher. And I think I would almost compare this situation of massive pumps, and like you said, massive 100+%, 114% upside move, a 30 or so percent downside move right after. In fact, we have the chart right here. 140% move to the upside. Man, it's just like how. Welcome to freaking crypto. This happened maybe a little bit in weed stocks and maybe some other assets in time, but what a gnarly run. And I mean, the setup was a 40% move, 46% move. This is absolutely insane. A 25% correction, a little bit of stability. Now, this is the thing. Okay, the point I was going to make is this. Remember the hash wars of 2018 when BSB forked and BCH ABC forked off of BCH. They basically got into a pissing contest with each other, and CoinGeek, N-Chain, Calvin Ayre, in other words, Calvin Ayre and Craig Wright were just stacking hash, even at a loss. They were mining at a loss to just kind of have this contest to see who can output the most hash and create the most secure chain. Maybe there were some defensive reasons for that, but then Bcash was doing the same thing. Roger Ver's Btrash was pulling in hash. Even I think Craig Wright even ran a lawsuit against him for stealing hash from mining other cryptocurrencies and allocating it to Bitcoin Cash. So his chain, Bitcoin Cash ABC. So I see this as just a repeat of that exact scenario. I think they're pumping and dumping their coins. I think there's people that are big bag holders. I don't see this as organic buying. I see this as them pulling liquidity and probably sweeping it up. And I'm guessing that Calvin Ayre and CSW have been wash trading this. This isn't on any really reputable exchanges, so we don't have great data to really go off of. But this is what we can expect. I think this is just a repeat of the hash wars, except instead of hash being the thing to be moving up and down and fluctuating, I think this is going to be a price war. And I think the biggest players in this game are going to be Roger, Calvin, Craig, and maybe I don't Jihan really isn't spoken about anymore. I don't know his involvement. He's kind of laying low. Maybe he kind of started to do a new company over on the side. But I don't know Bitmain's involvement anymore with Bcash. So I'm just going to kind of put the focus on Roger until I have a better understanding of what's going on there. But yeah, I just see this as, instead of hash wars, let's just replace hash with price. And I think anyone with an illiquid pool, like any of these, altcoins, and by illiquid pool, I mean a low market cap, and little bits of money can really, really, really move the market rapidly, violently. And people like them have the money to do so, and that's going to instigate hope maybe from the community. It might be premature if the community isn't ready. If we're talking about people with empty pockets, lint in their pockets, then this run is all in vain. All it was for show. Maybe to them it's worth it. To billionaires spending 100 million or much less than that, as I assume. But spending tons of money is to make a coin look like it's performing well is something that they're more than happy to do and more than able to do. So I'm not looking at this as a very organic run. I would say get ready for the pullback. It's going to happen. It's going to be bouncing up and down, and this is why I don't play alts, because someone is in control of the price right now, and I'm not liking what I see.
But do you think that perhaps this might entice, whether we talk about in BSV, BCH, or even certain other alts out there that are moving with a large degree of volatility right now? Do you think that'll entice some of those speculative investors maybe back into the alt market, sort of could be the catalyst for that alt season you spoke about before? And that high volatility could be the driver. People out there want to make that quick cash, and this is obviously a place where they can do it.
100%. I want to make that quick cash. I'm one of those people. I hate to say it, but I wish I could have made 144% of my money on BSV. Every time as a trader or as any individual, I don't think you have to be a trader to look at something like that and be like, damn, I missed a chance to more to double my money and change. Maybe double and a half. So, of course, there's going to be those opportunities. Now, if it's isolated to Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin ABC, then we're going to know that this is just, their contest between one another. What I could do here and what I wanted to do was take a quick run through of Litecoin and ETH, because those, I think, would be more valuable to me. And, it's not like Charlie Lee is pumping this coin, even though we all know Charlie Lee and I don't see eye to eye. I disagree with a lot of the shit that Litecoin has done, which is just about everything. But, this is looking really good. We've broken through the intermediate term moving average. We had a nice breakthrough, 5% move to the upside, which is a nice conservative move. Support, continuation of the trend. Nice small pullback on a non-sell. A violent breakthrough of intermediate term moving average, which is fine with me in crypto. This is very fine. Nice little pullback, and now we have other stuff to look forward to here on the upside. So I think this might be people speculating, and this candle right here could very well be what you were just talking about, people speculating and getting ready for alt season. And that's going to be, I think, something that really does bring masses back into crypto. And here's Ethereum had a little. This one was actually running like a day behind Litecoin. Seems to have made quite a bit of progress here in a short period of time. You can see we struggled with the 50 MA a little bit more so than Litecoin. Litecoin was literally wicking off the 50 MA, looking beautiful, right? And looked like amazing support. Now Ethereum's looking fantastic. Following a support off the 50 MA, a 15% move to the upside, it very well could be either, to me, before I say alt season, I want to make sure this isn't an alt season fake out. And the one other one that we should really look at, since we took a look at BSB, is, this is kind of what I was expecting. I wanted to see how violent this was. 30% is pretty big. We didn't even really play around with the moving averages. Resistance, violent breakthrough. Resistance, violent breakthrough. This is a little different behavior than the coins that I would trust are less influenced in price by people, that are kind of spearheading the direction of the coin. Where you have Roger and Craig capable of moving the price of their coins. I don't really think Vitalik Buterin is pulling liquidity and spamming the buy. I don't think he's wash trading his own coin. It's traded on many more exchanges. It's much harder of a practice to do with something with like Ethereum with a much bigger market cap probably than those two coins put together. Maybe the pump changed that. But this is something that I'm starting to see a nice reversal in alts like Litecoin and Ethereum, a nice convincing reversal, convincing support off of technical indicators like these moving averages. But then we look at something like Bcash, and it's just jumping the fuck out the water. I mean, I'm not going to really take this too seriously just yet. I want to make sure this isn't an alt season fake out, all because Roger and Craig are playing, price games to try to pump the the price to try to entice miners to mine, because obviously going into the halvening, there's going to be a massive increase in hash. In theory, that's what typically happens, and that's what we see what's happening in Bitcoin. There's going to be a massive increase in hash because this is the last time miners will be able to get 12.5 Bitcoin per block reward. So miners will be plugging in a lot more machines to try to capitalize on the fact that this is, they're going to be losing half of the amount of Bitcoin they'll be receiving from solving blocks. So if we have the same thing happening in Bcash, what they're trying to, and both sides of it, Bcash ABC, Bcash SV, then what we're going to see is them pumping the price to try to entice miners to mine, so that we can have, what appears to be a very successful and secure chain. And then, there's going to be the halvening dump. There's going to be a hash dump, and there's probably going to be a price dump as well. So let's pay attention to those 2 coins. I think it's going to be, very irrational, and I think it's going to be irrational more likely because of manipulation than wider market FOMO.
All right, certainly. It looks like that volatility really is the name of the game there, Joe, that no matter what we see as we approach these multiple halving events coming up around the middle of this year, early middle part of this year, could be an exciting time. Some of those 2019 blues seem to have been shaken away, and 2020 looks to be an exciting one. Joe Saz, I want to thank you so much for breaking down the latest market analysis. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come. So for those watching, make sure you stay with us at blocktv.com for all the latest in news and information. I'm Asher Westrop Evans. Thanks for watching.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter